Hi, I'm Sherry Damaris, and welcome to Macro Magic. And today I have with me Maryellen Stamos. We're celebrating Valentine's Day. And Maryellen is a health educator and plant-based coach with her company Optimal Health. And we're going to make a German chocolate cake. So welcome, Maryellen. From
Hi,
your,
good morning.
from your beautiful kitchen near San Francisco. And we're so excited to have you because you've been doing so much work, as you know, with your background as an RN for plant-based classes in your community, and also studied macrobiotic cooking. So we're so excited to see your recipe for German chocolate cake.
Thank you.
And do you want to tell us a little bit about how you got started in your practice? Because I know you were a nurse for a long time before you turned plant-based and started studying macrobiotics.
Yeah, it was about 10 years ago. A friend of my daughter, who also is a nurse, started telling me about T. Colin Campbell and how she took the class, and that I could drop my cholesterol because I was on a statin and I was 40 pounds more in my weight. And so I took right to it and I studied, and she health coached me. She had just become a health coach. And between her helping me and also just what I was reading and learning, it just kind of grew. And then with the macrobiotics piece, that really helped too, because the plant-based message was good, but there was still some things that it was not getting all the way. Just going plant-based wasn't enough for me. So I needed to do some other things to regain my health.
And I know because you took some of my cooking classes how much
Yes.
you've really grown, you and your daughter, in terms of cooking and actually teaching a lot out in the community. And I think that your background as a nurse has really helped you through the pandemic in helping a lot of people sort of change their orientation, change their diet, and really gain some benefits with their health.
Yeah, I'm finding actually the Zoom piece of it has been helpful, because instead of just going to the community center and actually doing the whole thing myself and having them watch, I give them the recipes and they cook along with me at home in their own kitchens.
Wow, that's so fabulous. So you're going to show us a chocolate cake today for Valentine's Day?
Yeah, yeah. We like, birthday cakes, and, whose ever birthday it is gets to choose what kind of cake they want. And it was a German chocolate cake that was like one of my favorites. My other favorite is carrot cake.
Mm-hmm.
But I had to find a recipe, and that's what I do all the time. I find something and then I change it up to make it plant-based. So, and then we actually are gluten sensitive, getting less and less on that as we follow macrobiotics. I'm able to have some and not have really bad reactions with my stomach, but I don't have it that much. So the flours I choose to use for this cake are millet flour, which is a great grain to have.
Mm.
And I really didn't know anything about it until I went macrobiotics. I didn't really know millet at all. I knew some other flours, but never used that. And then this one, I use chickpea flour just to get some beans in there. I know that sounds like, oh my gosh, there's beans in the cake, but it's so nutritious, got a lot of fiber, and it gives the density I was looking for the cake. So there's a cup and a half of chickpea flour, and I used my last thing so you can't see it, but it's Bob's Red Mill, and I usually get it at Sprouts out here, Whole Foods. You can order it online. Um, Millet flour, same thing. I get that online now. Well, I get almost everything online, but it's really good. This one's good. Um, and then just a smaller amount of the cocoa, because you want the chocolate taste, but we're not going to use a lot of it. This is like a half a cup. You could even go a little bit less if you wanted to. And it's got some good properties here. So I do like to use it for the, of course, chocolate cake. We use a plant-based milk. I chose almond unsweetened. So that's unsweetened almond milk here. Flax meal is like it acts like an egg, when you put the liquids in it. So it gives it that gel that I'm looking for. So actually on my recipe, it's a quarter cup. I think I wrote a half a cup, so everybody will have to make that correction. That would be too much. And then I put baking powder here. So that's a tablespoon of baking powder.
So it's nice to use all the different flours, which people aren't familiar with, especially gluten-free. And you make sure that they're organic, right? The organic millet and organic chickpea. But it's a really new combination, I think, for viewers to hear about using chickpea flour and millet flour in a cake.
Yeah. I mean, what's nice about doing it this way, you really have control over the flours you want to put in the cake. Like some people don't want to do grain, they'll put almond flour. You could change that. But this tastes good this way, so I don't really change that. The almonds I use, you can see a lot of Trader Joe products out here. I am in California, so I know you guys have Trader Joe out there.
Yes.
So I soak these dates. Sometimes these are very big. So if the recipe calls for 20, you could put 10 in and be okay. If there's smaller dates, you might want to put more. And that's a judge on your sweetness, on how sweet you like things. And then there's a half a cup of almond butter in there.
So this is for your frosting, correct?
No, this is still all the cake.
Oh, so you're putting the dates in the cake. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then apple cider vinegar. I do put it in cakes. Maybe you know more what it does for the property, but I know maybe it makes the taste all better, but it calls for the apple cider vinegar, so I put that in. And it does make it nice. And some vanilla. And so you put all the dry ingredients together, and then you get a high-powered blender, which I have, and then you put your liquid ingredients plus the frozen blueberries. Nice. So it makes a really nice, thicker, wet ingredient. And you pour that all into your batter. It cooks pretty quick. It cooks in about, 30 minutes in the oven? Yeah, it took 30 minutes.
And we're going to post your recipe on my blog on www.kissyourplate.com so people can read the recipe and follow along. And I know that you're going to show us what the final cake looks like and frost it.
Yeah.
But in case people, want to know the exact amounts and want to follow along with your recipe, they can find it there.
Yeah. What I wanted to show is I don't use oil when I put the cake in, and that's what the almond butter gave a lot of moisture, so I didn't need any oil in my cake. But I do use parchment paper, and you can see it's going to really help. I trim it before I put it in the oven because I don't want anything to burn. So I just trim it down. And this will come out really quickly. So that's something I've learned to do a lot more of, even with cupcakes. You can get the silicone thing for cupcakes, but these are the pans I have.
Mm-hmm. Now, do you put it in a springform pan where you take the bottom out in order to get the cake out, or are you just putting them in regular cake pans?
These are just regular tins that I have, but I do have that also. Okay. But today I chose to use this, but it would work very well in that. But I wanted to make the 2-layer because I frost in the middle also.
Nice. And how did you really learn to do all this? I know that, originally when you were a nurse and you took cooking classes from me and then took the cruise a couple times, but where did you learn how to put these great desserts together?
Forks over knives,
Mm.
cooking class, and then I did Ruby.
Mm-hmm.
So I did the chef Ruby because I love to cook. So before I went plant-based, I was always cooking.
Mm-hmm.
But then I needed to change everything up. And actually, my whole family is plant-based now too.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't just me, and it was an easy transition because they liked what they were eating, and I would take notes if they didn't like something and reinvent something else for them. So we're all plant-based.
That is so wonderful. I know when I came out to visit, you were so sweet and pulled a recipe out of my cookbook, Macro Magic, and made dinner for us. And it was so endearing. But I really was impressed with your journey from, deciding that you were going to change to plant-based and then changing your whole entire family.
Yeah, I mean, I took to it like a fish to water. I was working in a cardiac rehab center in Palo Alto, which is affiliated with Stanford. And I became a CHIP facilitator, which is the Complete Health Improvement Program. And I brought that there. And, I don't know if you've seen What the Health. There was a bit of backlash with the nurses there. One nurse that I've known for a long time said I was bad for business. Can you believe it? And I had maybe 10 people in my class, and I taught them, and all of them reversed their type 2 diabetes. And the cardiac people came off most of their meds. I had one guy that was, he wasn't going to get a heart transplant. He was 80 years old, but he was struggling, just struggling to just live really. And he said, he would tell me, they're telling me I need a kidney transplant. And what do you think? And I'm like, oh, well, why don't you do this CHIP program with me? And he did. And I told him, your numbers will reverse. And they did. His kidney numbers improved. His heart numbers improved. He got off some of his meds. Just amazing. And one other doctor from another hospital, I was telling her the story, and she said, just keep really good records. So she wasn't discounting what I said, what had happened. And someone that needed a transplant, he was able to have reconstructive surgery. That was the man I was coaching after he went through the CHIP program. So there's nothing good but good things to say about this.
Yeah, and Alex Jack, who was recently on our show, just got funding for a huge diabetes study that they're going to show with the macrobiotic diet. We're going to take a commercial break, and we come back and we're going to get the cake out of the oven and watch you frost it and talk a little bit more about plant-based nutrition.
Okay.
Ashley Owens. I am your personal networking concierge, and I host a show on RVN TV called Connect to Success, where I interview power networkers in the greater Philadelphia and South Jersey area. So join me every week, 12:30 on Thursdays during your lunch break, and now on Fridays at 9 and 9:30 p.m. We'll see you next week.
This plus this equals this plus this and this. Don't drink and drive.
What makes a temple owl? Meet Stella. She's wise, fierce, and she's not alone. Temple University, where owls call home. We are the cherry and white. The city is our classroom, and we lead the rush hour, making our mark on every field around the world. A world without Temple, well, that's like the sky without the North Star. Temple, never stopping.
The family law firm of Shemtab Dragonovsky Taylor will help you move through and beyond your divorce. We are a full service.
And front of the camera. Hi, I'm Sherry Damaris, and welcome back to Macro Magic. And we are with Maryellen Stamos, health coach and plant-based nutritional teacher for her company Optimal Health. And we just watched as she made a chocolate cake, all plant-based, not using eggs or sugar or dairy. And now we're going to talk about how she's going to frost the cake for Valentine's Day and share with us a little bit more of her work as an RN, helping people switch over their diets and improve their health. Welcome back, Maryellen.
Thank you. Hello.
So you want to show viewers the cake. It turned out wonderful.
Yeah, I
Gorgeous.
took this out, no fear about it all crumbling. I think maybe Sherry saw me just go do, and I put it right on my cake stand. So that's good. And then I toasted the coconut and the pecans, just cut them up, put that in for a few minutes, and you're done. The dates I did soak, so just remember to soak them and remember to remove the pits, or else you will really mess up your Vitamix. So. Not that that's happened, but I've heard it. Let me get a knife here.
So we have blended dates and cocoa powder, right, as the frosting.
Right.
What are the ingredients in the frosting?
Oh, the ingredients in the frosting are just almond milk, unsweetened again, dates, a little bit of vanilla, half a teaspoon, a cup of chopped pecans, and 3/4 a cup of the flakes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just, I don't want that one. I want this one. Try to have everything in hand. So we're going to take all of this out, and we're just going to put it in here, and we'll mix it up.
So this is sort of like the topping of the cake, the dry topping on top of the frosting.
Yeah. I mean, you could save a little bit to just sprinkle on top, which is a good idea. But I like to have it kind of all through it. And my mom never made a German chocolate cake. It was always something we had when we went out. I was the only girl. So if I did stuff with my mom, we got to go out and have a nice little treat somewhere. So it was usually something we couldn't make for ourselves, or we didn't know how to. So this was a bakery, or someplace. It was in, I grew up in Ridgewood, New Jersey. So there's someplace there that I remember we would go out and have a nice little dessert.
It's so amazing you can make a whole German chocolate cake without using like dairy, sugar, eggs, commercial sweeteners.
And I think it tastes so much better with the fruit, the whole fruit. The blueberries really do something to it that makes it really nice.
Yeah, that's an interesting ingredient to add.
Yeah. So I'm just going to put a little in the middle. Just so we have it.
So what?
This is not enough icing to do the sides. It's not that kind of a cake to do that. So it's really just something to put. And sometimes I make double the amount of icing just to be sure I'm going to have enough. And you could always use it for something else. And you could actually use this recipe to make cupcakes too. So here, this just comes right out.
So you don't frost the entire cake, you're just putting it in between the layers?
I just put one in the layer, and then I'm going to put it on the top.
Oh, okay. Very beautiful looking.
Yeah, but like I said, if I had more frosting, and I could whip up some more if I really wanted to have it on the side, but this particular recipe is just going to do enough for the top and the middle.
And you can make this into cupcakes in case you don't want to make a cake.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, you can definitely do that.
So what are some of the other exciting desserts that you teach in your classes?
I've made a key lime pie. that I came up with that my family really liked. I used the agar to get that gel for it, and I put a little bit of matcha in it to get the green color, which is really nice.
Oh, that's clever for the key lime pie.
Yeah.
So how did you make the crust?
I made I think it was the walnut crust on that. Yeah, it was raw. The crust was raw. Actually, the whole cake is raw. I didn't have to put that in the oven. So that was yeah. I can always share that recipe. It came out nice.
Yeah, when are you printing out your new cookbook?
I'm actually in the process of starting to write, but the pandemic has driven me to writing. So, that activity that said I should really write something. Well, my daughter here is going to college to become an English major, and she's going to help me. She's actually really helping me to organize my thoughts, and I think I needed that.
That's nice.
As just, I needed that. So you could also put fresh fruit on the top, little raspberries or strawberries. We might have some raspberries in there if you want to see.
Yeah, it looks beautiful.
Yeah. And there you go. There it is.
Gorgeous. And so simple. I mean, these steps are really easy to do in terms of, baking. I think it's for viewers to get more familiar with the new types of flours that they can use, and using the flaxseed in place of the egg, and better quality sweeteners. But really great to have, because oftentimes you and I know that when you eat a big, huge piece of chocolate cake, sometimes you don't feel so good afterwards.
Right.
And this is so much more lighter and easier to digest.
Yes. Yes.
So how are you doing now during the pandemic? Are you teaching online? Are you coaching people in person? Or how can people get in touch with you if they want to take a class?
I work online, so I can see, and that's what I really like. So I can really see clients in what's going on in their real home, in their homes. They can show me what's going on. That's been really actually good for me. So right now it's exclusively online. Yeah, and they can contact me through my website, Real Simple Optimal Health. And the cooking classes are all online also. So I've had people from the East Coast join them, and my community here. So it's actually been really nice, and I like it better. So I'm not carting all my stuff down to the community center and then carting it all back. And I mean, they gave me a drawer and everything to put everything in, but this is so much easier. I feel very comfortable in my own kitchen cooking.
Nice. And we have some photos to show the audience of some of your work. We have a plant-based power bowl. Is that a cookbook?
Oh, that was a bowl I probably made.
With,
I started
lime.
this, or it was started, it's called Plant-Based Advocates in my community, and we, every month we make dinner for 20 homeless people. So we just started that about a few months ago. So everybody makes something and we bring it together, and these are people that aren't going to the centers. So there's actually he's a lawyer. He distributes the food to people in the areas in San Jose.
That is so wonderful. Plant-based meals for the
Plant-based advocates in Los Gatos.
Oh my gosh, what a wonderful service for the community.
So we're really trying to change things here, and restaurants are responding. They're offering more plant-based options and a lot of macro options. You'd be happy.
Wow.
I'm happy.
I need to come back.
So yeah, very good things are happening out here.
And these are raspberry things in the oven with
Oh, the cookies. Yeah, those are the chocolate cookies. My daughter wanted me to come up with a cookie recipe for her. And yeah, they were fresh raspberries just folded right into the cookies.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Your you're really branching out. There's the cake. We got a picture of the cake. Again, all plant-based ingredients, no dairy, sugar, or eggs.
Right.
Really great, especially for diabetic people and people with heart conditions, or if you just want to generally lose weight and improve your health.
Yeah, I try to make it simple because a lot of people I have are just coming into this and they've been eating just foods that are just, bought convenient like. So it's really, they're not used to cooking. They're not used to using their kitchens. So you have to figure out where they are and then progress. So I usually come, for my clients, I try to go with just a few ingredients.
Really, and get them started in adding a few ingredients to their
Very
house.
simple, very simple vegetable dishes. Because they don't want to spend a lot of time in the kitchen because they're not used to it.
Yes, yes. Well, you're doing a wonderful service out in California. We so appreciate your work, Maryellen. And I just love that German chocolate cake. I want to go home and make it for Valentine's Day. And we hope to have you on the show again as you continue to teach and coach people in this wonderful new lifestyle. And we definitely want to hear the stories about how their health's improved because of your work. That's so important. So once again, how can people reach you? They want a class to Zoom in either on a cooking class or a coaching session.
Yeah, they can find me at www.realsimpleoptimalhealth.com. And that's how they can get me. And I think you have my email, so they can contact me that way also.
Great. We'll be in touch. Well, thank you so much. Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy
I'm sorry I
Valentine's
can't
Day.
be there to eat a piece of cake with you, but I'm sure it'll be delicious. And join us next time for another episode of Macro Magic.
Thank you.